On a frosty winter evening, Mark trudges homeward along a snow-laden street after a long day's work. Amidst the quiet of the deserted road, his attention is drawn to a small dog nestled in the snow, its plaintive whimpers piercing the stillness. Moved by compassion, Mark approaches the shivering canine, its eyes brimming with a sense of abandonment. Without hesitation, he decides to accompany the dog, a silent pledge to provide solace in its time of need. Yet, as they progress, the dog's sudden bark towards a nearby bush jolts Mark's senses, instilling a sense of caution. Mindful of potential danger lurking in the undergrowth, Mark cautiously approaches the bush, prepared for the worst. However, what he discovers within takes him by surprise. Amidst the snow-laden foliage lies another creature, its plight mirroring that of the dog's. The snowstorm's fury had left the city paralyzed, rendering this unfortunate soul stranded and exposed to the biting cold. Recalling his own fortunate proximity to work, Mark's heart swells with empathy for the vulnerable beings left to weather the elements alone. His encounter with the dog becomes a poignant reminder of the harsh realities faced by those less fortunate in such unforgiving conditions. Reflecting on the encounter, Mark's thoughts drift back to his own journey home from work earlier that day. Fatigued and battling the biting wind, he had contemplated seeking respite behind a sheltering tree, only to be startled by a stirring in the snow. What initially appeared as a distant, indiscernible figure gradually resolved into the form of the small dog, its presence stirring a mix of concern and compassion within him. Approaching cautiously, Mark's initial apprehension gives way to relief as he observes the dog's vitality, seemingly untouched by the cold's cruel grip. Yet, the presence of a collar hints at a tether to another, sparking thoughts of a worried owner somewhere in the midst of this wintry night. The animal let out a few barks before trotting away from Mark, casting a glance back to see if he would follow. With darkness fast approaching, Mark faced a dilemma: continue his journey home, risking exposure to the biting cold, or heed the silent plea of the animal, venturing further into the forest's depths. Reluctant to leave the creature to fend for itself in the frigid night air, Mark made a split-second decision to follow, his heart heavy with concern for both the dog's well-being and his own safety. As they ventured deeper into the woods, Mark's initial apprehension gave way to a sense of unease. Doubts crept into his mind as he realized the distance from home growing with each step, yet the dog's unwavering determination spurred him on. Despite his misgivings, Mark pressed on, guided by the fervent barking of the dog, a plea for companionship echoing through the silent forest. Each time he faltered or attempted to retreat, the dog's cries intensified, compelling him to continue. After what felt like an eternity, their paths seemed to converge on a particular spot, though Mark struggled to discern any significant change in their surroundings. Yet, the dog's behavior shifted, its demeanor transitioning from exuberance to focused determination. Sensing a change in the atmosphere, Mark's curiosity piqued, prompting him to investigate further. Approaching cautiously, Mark observed the dog's intent gaze fixed on a seemingly innocuous bush. Closer inspection revealed telltale signs of recent disturbance, suggesting something lay hidden within. Suddenly, the tranquility of the forest was shattered by the dog's ferocious barks, alerting Mark to the potential danger lurking within the undergrowth. As he cautiously approached the bush, uncertainty gnawed at Mark's resolve. Whatever lay concealed within could pose a threat to both him and the dog. With bated breath, he braced himself for the unknown, his instincts urging caution in the face of uncertainty. With trembling hands, Mark cautiously pushed aside the foliage, his senses on high alert, anticipating the unknown lurking within. Suddenly, a movement from the bushes jolted him, sending a wave of shock through his veins. Before he could register what had occurred, the small dog he had been trailing darted forward, nipping at his leg. Faced with a split-second decision, Mark grappled with conflicting impulses. The safer choice was to retreat to the safety of home, Yet an insatiable curiosity drove him to pursue the dog further into the unknown. Despite the looming danger, he resolved to continue following the canine, driven by a relentless desire to unravel the mystery unfolding before him. As the dog's barks echoed through the forest, guiding his path, Mark drew closer to the source of the commotion. Soon, he found himself on the verge of discovery, the dog's attention fixated on a secluded cave entrance. However, Mark's rational mind hesitated, wary of potential threats lurking within, particularly the possibility of encountering bears known to inhabit the area. With the storm intensifying and visibility dwindling, Mark faced a grim reality. He couldn't afford to remain exposed to the elements. Resigned to his fate, he resolved to seek refuge within the cave, despite his apprehensions. Entering the cavern, Mark's senses heightened, attuned to any sign of danger. The dog, mirroring his unease, remained close by, tail tucked beneath its legs. Together, they ventured deeper into the darkness, Mark's flashlight illuminating the cavern's depths. Despite the absence of immediate danger, a lingering sense of unease pervaded the air, heightened by the ominous silence. Mark pressed on, determined to confront whatever lay hidden within the cave's depths, unwilling to succumb to fear. However, their tranquility was short-lived as a sudden disturbance shattered the silence, echoing through the cavern's depths. The dog's agitation mirrored Mark's own, its barks resonating with a primal urgency, signaling the presence of an unseen threat lurking in the shadows. The dog bounded ahead, disappearing from Mark's flashlight beam, leaving him with no choice but to pursue blindly into the cavern's depths. Despite his weariness, Mark pressed on, compelled by a sense of obligation to the mysterious canine guide. Navigating through twists and turns, Mark finally caught up with the dog at the cave's end, relieved to find no sign of bears or other threats. Instead, his flashlight revealed a scene that took him by surprise. A small cluster of rocks, the focus of the dog's attention. Approaching cautiously, Mark illuminated the rocks, revealing two pairs of gleaming eyes belonging to an unexpected inhabitant, a young cat. It was clear that the feline had endured the harsh cold of recent days, its plight stirring Mark's compassion. Without hesitation, Mark resolved to bring both the cat and the dog to safety, aided by his faithful companion. Together, they ventured back to the cave entrance, where the snowstorm had finally abated, allowing for their return home. Upon reaching safety, Mark wasted no time in seeking veterinary care for the newfound companions. Thankfully, the examination revealed no significant issues, providing relief to Mark and assurance of their well-being. Determined to provide a loving home for both the cat and the dog, Mark made the decision to adopt them into his family. With fate's assistance in bringing the animals to him, Mark found himself embracing the unexpected addition to his household, grateful for the newfound companionship they brought into his life.